Well, good evening, race fans. Coming at you live here from Fontana at Auto Club Speedway for some Sigma ARCA action. And interestingly enough, on the front row for the first time ever, Heen Clutch Oak for LFG Motorsports, bringing that number 16 Monster Energy GTO to the front of the field. And alongside him, Donovan Heist. Behind them, you've got Ralph Oberstadt and Skylar Taylor, Casey Klein and Jonah Burridge, James Gunner and Wyatt Wilkinson, Sly Ojima, and Jaden Anderson. Currently, Trevor Vaden is he's up there. I can't remember if he is the points leader, but he's definitely towards the front. Starting right outside the top 10 here, alongside the 13 of Jimmy Schlongson. Then you've got William Kinsella Jr. and Chris K. Green, Alan Chavot and Matthew Hubert, Keely Sheets and Chase Kovacic, Finley Herwig and Mark Shelton, Joe Hill and Jamison Thole, Craig Bush, Evan Snake, Joseph Hayes and B. Roy, Eli the Wolf and Craig Popkris, Alex Sanvital and Jakov Rosovich. Starting deep tonight, it's Ace Blake alongside the 88 of Joe Alvitor, Adam Cruz and Rand Kataz, Zach Magoon and Bailey Parker, with Hank Scorpio and Gustavo rounding out the field here tonight. So 75 laps around Fontana should be good enough for at least one round of pit stops here tonight.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Heen Clutch Oak in only his second career start here. Starting front row, has turned the program around on this number 16 car. We saw Matias Nunez struggle very badly getting this 16 car to run up front. And it seems like the difference is driver. Putting Clutch Oak in the seat, he now leads the race to the start here tonight in Fontana. Definitely should be interesting to see what these ARCA drivers do on a bigger track like this. They will hit Daytona in a couple weeks, but this will be one of their bigger stops that they hit on the calendar. Off to the early lead, it is Clutch Oak driving into turn one here with a good push from the 21 of Oberstadt. Oberstadt not wanting to work with him for long. Looks like Oberstadt's going to try to take the lead away here. And just like that, Oberstadt going to steal the lead away from Clutch Oak before lap one is even in the books here. Trevor Vaden boogieing his way through the field. Look at that. He came from outside the top 10 and just about now fighting for the top 5 with a 4-wide ordeal in the mid-pack there. What a move from that 18 car. He is flying on a rail. And I stand corrected. Trevor Vaden is not the current points leader. That point lead belongs to Wyatt Wilkinson. They only have 9 points separating them, so Wyatt Wilkinson is going to need Trevor Vaden to have a bad race here today if he wants to keep that points lead. Looking like it's going to be hard for Wilkinson if Vaden's going to be running like this. Now, Wilkinson not too far behind, but you see he's about 20th on field right now, so this would give that points lead over to Trevor Vaden. Ooh, Vaden made a bold move there. He went high and cut off the 32 of Gunner. I don't know if that was a smart move or not. It looks like it might cost him some spots here. His teammate sits in third, the 16 of Heen Clutch Oak. Kaylee Sheets now into fourth. Clutch Oak going for second here. Making a move on Casey Klein in that number 1. Of course, Clutch Oak being your pole setter here today, he hasn't gone very far from where he started. Ralph Oberstadt kind of surprised in the field. He's moved his way from about 5th to take the lead here early in the running. It is kind of sad that this track doesn't exist in real life the way it used to, that they're in the process of converting it over to a short track. That's kind of the nice part about keeping some tracks alive in media form like this. You can keep hosting races at the track even after it's long gone. Fontana always had some exciting races. I don't know why they decided they needed to destroy it. I don't know why they couldn't have figured out a way to have a short track in the middle of the big track. I mean, ideally that would have been pretty cool. It might have been a logistical nightmare having stands and stuff blocking your overall view of the big track. So they would probably have to go with a temporary stand situation so that they can move them in and move them out if they decide to run on the big track. But alas, they sold most of this track off for industrial land and whatnot, and who knows when we'll get to see that short track in action. It's definitely not going to be the same kind of track as we're watching right here with the high speeds. One thing that is pretty accurate here, they do get up to, they had them throttled back to about 190 going into turn 1. In the game on here, they go up to 200 miles an hour into turn 1. You ain't going to get that kind of speed and adrenaline on a short track. Here goes Clutch Oak on Oberstadt for the lead. Clutch Oak in just his 2nd career start, making some waves here. Do a little bit of a skim here as they're fighting at the front. I don't want to miss this pass for the lead. We'll skim back a little bit. Casey Klein in 3rd. Trevor Vaden makes a bold bump there on Klein to take a jab at 3rd here. We'll see if Clutch Oak has a run on the back straight. And not looking like he's going to have the momentum here. You can tell that 16 car just a little bit faster than the 21. He's having to hold back a little bit and try to find the right opportunity to make that pass. Up to 5th, it's Kaylee Sheets. And then you got Finley Herwig, James Gunner, Skylar Taylor, Chase Kovacic. Things have steadied out at the front here. I'm going to still skip up to the front once in a while and try to give us a run through the back of the field. Wyatt Wilkinson sits in about 13th there. Joseph Hayes in about 20th, maybe 18th. A rough day so far for Ace Blake as he's running in 26th, but there's still a lot of racing to go here. Other perennial contenders, not seeing any other big names in the back here. Clutch Oak under attack by Casey Klein. On the high side. That's a bold move from the 1 of Klein. It looks like he might be able to get the job done on that high side there. And here comes Kaylee Sheets now in the mix. She gets by the 2 LFG teammates, making a big move there. And we're under caution as they race back to the start-finish line. And it's a nasty one here, it looks like. Quite a few cars involved. get the rundown on what happened here. And let's see. So Donovan Heiss, who started on the front row, had faltered back to 21st here. And amongst 21st place, he runs into Alex Sandvital. And coming in after the fact, the 43 of Rosovic, the 01 of Ojima get collected in the mix. Just unfortunately, nowhere for them to go. There's Rosovic, there's Ojima. And I got to look too and see when Rosovic started sliding down track who was at risk of getting contacted there. He's sliding down. Not much coming at him, so pretty clean spin after the fact. No one else was in harm's way. The 50, I think, might have been the big saver there. Craig Popgris, we'll have to watch his in-car cam on that and see how close for comfort that was. Yeah, pretty close for comfort. So this will get things bunched back up. We'll go ahead and enable green-white checkers just in case we need them here tonight. You never know. This is going to give everyone another chance at a restart. What's exciting about this track is the restarts and how fanned out they get. It's almost like Pocono, but on steroids. You usually see about 4, maybe even 5 wide on occasion here, because there's so much room for activity on the 2-mile speedway. Doesn't look bad. We did have 3 retirements. Ojima out, the 24 and the 43. So the 24 being Alex Sandvital and the 43 of Jakov Rosovic out of the race here tonight. Let's go ahead and take a peek at our fuel window here tonight. 50 laps. So if they can make to lap 25, anything after that, they should be good to go to the finish. Any pit stops this time under this first caution is not going to be enough to make it. It doesn't look like anyone took the opportunity to pit from the front of the field anyways. So they're definitely banking on pitting later rather than taking this early pit cycle, which is actually kind of interesting. I'm surprised you didn't have very many surprise takers down pit road. Nothing. Huh. Other than the drivers that were involved in damage, it looks like they're the only ones that made a trip to pit road, so. Alrighty, getting set for the restart here on lap 16. It's going to be Ralph Oberstadt and Casey Klein leading them to the restart, followed by Trevor Vaden, Kaylee Sheets, Heen Klutchoke, and Finley Herwig. The pace car is off. And it's Oberstadt with the advantage, being the lead car here. Casey Klein gets a good jump, gets a little bit more of a advantage coming off the line there. Klein not able to close the gap though, as Oberstadt drives back by him. Oberstadt has not failed to lead a lap yet here today. He's held the lead for the entire time so far. We've seen a few competitors peek their nose into the mix, but haven't secured the overall first position. And now you got Trevor Vaden with his teammate right behind him, Klutchoke. Casey Klein with a good run on the outside here. He's going to drive it deep. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead position. Trevor Vaden takes over. Big move there on the 18. This will be the first laps he's led today. He's got to keep the lead though. That 21 might be stout enough to race around on the outside here. James Gunner Kovacic moving up into the mix now. Kovacic has led the points briefly this season. Has not gotten a win yet. It's just a matter of time before the 62 of Kovacic finds himself in Sigma ARCA victory lane. Oh, that didn't look good with Klein. Oh, they're wrecking with Klein flipping upwards. And I think Klutchoke was involved in that. We're going to see there's probably quite a few people involved in that. Turn 1 seems to be the most treacherous here at Fontana in NR2003. It's all because of the speeds they carry into turn 1. You know, it'd be one thing, but ultimately going 200 miles an hour into a turn is always going to make things harder for all those involved. Man, Klein had a good car here today, but unfortunately it looks like his day might be done. So we'll go ahead and go on our drone cam here. As he's flipping upside down, you can't see anything. They just ran out of room. The 16 of Klutchoke takes Casey Klein for a ride there. Ah, dang. Skylar Taylor's involved. She's sitting high up in the points. 66 of Kaylee got involved. She's also trying to get as many points here today. Yet again, ultimately not a very big group of cars involved in the wreck. Looks mostly like Casey Klein taking the worst of it. Jaden Anderson. Everyone else kind of gets by unscathed for the most part. Other than Skylar Taylor, Jaden Anderson, Kaylee Sheets, damn, Heen Klutchoke, and Casey Klein. And now we've got our window open for pit stops. This almost puts them at a perfect stretch all the way to the finish, as 50 laps is the window. And we are on lap 20, so given some cautions here and there, really depends on how many more caution laps we have. It's going to be tight. It's going to almost require another round of pit stops before the end of this one. I'll be damned. Look at Ace Blake making big moves on pit road. Let's see how many tires he ends up taking. If he takes 2 or 4. This is after the fact, so we need to go a little further back and see how his pit stop gained him so much track position. Took 4 tires, comes in 9th, and I think comes back out, about 12th. So it wasn't as good as I thought, but... Oh, we had people that stayed out. That's what's going on here. 32 of James Gunner stays out, moves from 7th up into the lead. Rand Kataz stays out. The 80 of Herwig stays out. Burridge, Heist, Thole, Cruz, all 7 of them stay out. The first of those that pitted, Trevor Vaden, Ralph Oberstadt, Chase Kovacic, Roy, Hayes, and Blake. So honestly, he gained a couple spots on that pit stop, whereas he would have been 9th up to 7th. Instead, he falls back to 13th with the drivers that stayed out. Go ahead and turn off one pace lap here so we can get back racing as quickly as possible, as we don't have anyone lap down. Another driver joins the retirement train as the 29 of Skylar Taylor and the 1 of Casey Klein are out of the race now. Interesting strategies taking place as drivers stayed out during this last caution here. Alrighty, we getting back to racing here at Fontana. And it's going to be James Gunner. But the problem is he's going to have slower, less healthy tires on that number 32. And he's going to have a whole bunch of fresh rubbered, four tire pit stop drivers trying to blow his doors wide open here. Currently in line, the best of the drivers with fresh tires would be that 77 there of Ace Blake, who's already cracked up into the top 6. A lot of the slower traffic holding up our other drivers that took 4 tires. So this getting interesting. Definitely not a scenario you want to be in. An ARCA race with drivers on old tires, that's a recipe for disaster. Ace Blake is going to cruise his way into 4th place here with the 11 of Adam Cruz right behind him, Jonah Burridge alongside of him. And there we go, Ace Blake now up to 3rd. And this is a huge deal here, working his way through as he's fighting for that points championship battle. He resides 5th overall in the point standings and 65 points out of the win. So everything that he does is going to help exponentially climb his way up the ranks. Sitting in 2nd now, he's hunting down the 9 of Rand Kataz for the overall lead in this race on fresh tires. He's off strategy, but definitely this alternate strategy might very well be a winning strategy. He still might have to pit one more time, but if we get more cautions, it could save him some time on the gas, and it might be him at the end of the race staying out while everyone else behind him is pitting, and all he's going to have to do is hold on from there. And there you go. There's one of those cautions that Ace Blake's going to need here tonight. And I guess I shouldn't just I should include everyone else that took the 4 tires. But if you look, a lot of them got shuffled out. 62 of Kovacic deep, Trevor Vaden deep. So even though they took 4 fresh tires, they're going to have to fight their way almost from outside the top 10 here. Things continue to get chaotic and stay chaotic here at Fontana. Another wreck, this time involving Ralph Oberstadt in the 21. And this one actually didn't happen on the entry to turn 1. It all started right about at the start-finish line. Wow, he just ran out of space there. Didn't realize the 79 of Chavot was right there. Yet again, only a single car spin out this time. We've seen very minimal big wrecks. Some of the big wrecks, the biggest one was about 4 cars here tonight. This one involved 2 of them, and it was pretty casual spin from the 21. So we'll keep dropping the pace laps by 1 so that we can get back to racing ASAP here. Ace Blake is going to inherit the lead as Rand Kataz needs to go down pit road for his scheduled pit stop. William Kinsella Jr., 33rd, 1 lap down. We'll go ahead and give him the wave around. The 10 of Chris Kagreen up to 2nd. B. Roy in 3rd. Zach Magoon in 4th. Matthew Hubert in 5th. Wyatt Wilkinson in 6th. Joe Hill 7th. Craig Bush 8th. Chase Kovacic 9th. Jimmy Schlongson 10th. Eli the Wolf 11th. Hank Scorpio 12th. Bailey Parker 13th. Joao Vitor 14th. And Craig Popcris rounding out your top 15. 16 of Heen Clutchoke still in the mix. He sits in about top 20 position right now. Jaden Anderson with a little bit of damage on that car still fighting. And there's the couple drivers that had to make pit stops. Man, even Trevor Vaden. At this point, Trevor Vaden decided it's like, I'm going to come back down pit road and truly tamp it down with gas and make it all the way to the finish here tonight without any hesitation. So another strategy call here. The one strategy though for Ace Blake, it's gonna be a tough one to execute on. If he's lucky enough to save enough fuel here with these cautions, he could make it all the way to the finish. It's gonna be pushing it. He's going to have to go 60 laps on a window that only allows for 50 laps. So stay tuned, folks. This could get interesting. Well, another driver joins the retirement line here tonight. Donovan Heist, who started on the front row, out of the race early in this one. So that leaves us with 32 cars left running, all of which are on the lead lap. 6 cars retired from the race. So now some of the things that I've noticed on the restarts here, that inside line takes a little bit longer to get up to speed. It's not like current NASCAR rules. We do not have a choose cone option, as that would be a nightmare of coding, I'm sure, to execute for this 20-year-old game. So everyone gets staggered in standard restart orders. The odds on the inside, evens on the outside. And here we go. Ace Blake, as I noted there, it getting a little bit later on the start. Chris Kagreen gets one hell of a start around the outside. But you do got to realize the inside is the shortest way around the racetrack. And eventually things catch up to those on the high side. Wow, Chris Kagreen makes the move and secures the lead here from Ace Blake. So Blake has a little bit of competition here for the win tonight. Not to mention Chase Kovacic showing up to the party here. Hopefully we can get some racing in here without any more wrecks to slow the race pace down. As many wrecks as we've seen here tonight, we've already had 3 cautions with 11 laps run under yellow. Ace Blake making a move here. Has the momentum, but is he going to have the window of opportunity? And it looks like we might be trying to wreck again in the back half. Wow, Bailey Parker just clears, making a big mistake there. Unfortunately, the two of them are going to pay for it. Zach Magoon, Bailey Parker get shuffled backwards after getting into the wall there. I would not want to be Wyatt Wilkinson in the midst of this hornet's nest. As you can see, 3 and 4 wide right alongside of him. This looks like a wreck waiting to happen in the mid-pack. All in the meantime, Ace Blake loses a spot to Joe Hill, it looks like. Oh, and we're wrecking again. Just like clockwork here tonight. Yeah, Joe Hill makes it up to second, getting past Ace Blake here. Blake making a move to try and get up to second again. With all these cautions, this is going to help Ace Blake keep his strategy alive with the fuel mileage game here. His tires might start to get a little bit on the south side. No way, Chris Kagreen suffers a mechanical failure out of the lead. What happened to the tin car? Blowing up. Engine damage. Blown engine out of the lead. Holy cow, man. This race has had it all so far. Sadly for Chris Kagreen, who was leading laps, he's going to have to retire out of the lead. Damn. Well, now that gives us our opportunity to get caught back up with the wreck that just happened. And it was right there behind Wyatt Wilkinson. 32 of Gunner just takes out the 79 of Alan Chavot. Just a 2-car wreck. But the big drama comes right after they take the yellow flag. The 10 of Chris Kagreen going into turn 1 blows the engine up. That engine just expired out of nowhere on the 10 car. What a heartbreak. That 10 car disappears out of the race. He has suffered a header failure on the car. So that leaves us with 31 cars left running here tonight. Alrighty. Gotta love this ARCA series, man. Full of shenanigans and craziness. In the midst of all this chaos and craziness, Joe Hill finds himself up to the lead somehow, some way here. That 14 for SSRI. Joe Hill leading the way right now. Ace Blake in second. Chase Kovacic in third. B-Roy in fourth. And now even moving his way further up through the field, Joseph Hayes, who last time we seen out, wrecked from the lead at Vegas, collecting none other than Ace Blake. So Ace Blake maybe hoping that 84 stays as far behind as possible here, because he does not want a repeat of last race in Vegas, where he got taken out by the 84 of Hayes on a bonehead move. Digging deeper in the field here, it looks like Craig Bush running in 15th. Trevor Vaden, an up and down day. If you looked at his race position like a stock market, it would look out of control. Sitting 18th right now, as well as Oberstadt right behind him in 19th. Our points leader, Wyatt Wilkinson, 22nd. Not ideal for that 18 car or the 19 car for LFG Motorsports. And Heen Clutchoke in 29th, as this rounds out our 31 cars left running. This battle at the front is getting interesting, though. It's going to be interesting to see what Kovacic has for the lead. Ace Blake on an alternate strategy here that could ultimately find himself a great finish here tonight, especially with all these cautions the way they are falling. It's allowing Ace Blake to save very precious fuel here tonight and slowly creep his way to a great finish at Fontana. But Joe Hill, out of nowhere, comes in with that number 14, and we'll have to see what he could do here tonight. Ace Blake gets the start on the outside, even more so Kovacic trying to go above Joe Hill there. Hill closes the window. Kovacic gets hung out to dry. And here we have Craig Popkris now up to second. Ace Blake makes a move, cuts down low on Kovacic there. And making a move for the lead. He sticks his nose in there. And it's Ace Blake to the lead. Now here is a situation that Ace Blake does not want to hear. That 9 of Rand Kataz on fresher tires moving through the field. You can see that number 9 Home Depot car as we're under caution yet again. But with those fresher tires, it's going to be hard for Ace Blake to hold off that 9 of Kataz. That wreck actually happened in the middle of turn 1 and turn 2. So they're finding different ways to wreck here now. Eli the Wolf, looks like he was part of the chaos here. They're able to wall ride through turn 1, but unfortunately Eli the Wolf gets turned by Craig Bush there. Craig Bush did not like getting pushed up into the wall like that. A little bit of retaliation, it seems like. We can definitely see how badly Eli the Wolf uses him up going into the turn here. 33 goes way up a line, way up a line. And the 15 did not like that, so he just hooks him. Ends up paying the price himself, but not wanting to play those games here tonight. And I apologize, folks. This has been a wreck fest of wreck fests. And it's not even... Oh, here we go. Everyone's going to pit now. They've hit that window. So forget about strategies and all that. it's going to come down to who has the best car here tonight, which honestly is the best way to sort things out. Gives everyone a fair shot at fighting for the win here tonight. I'm almost half tempted to force them to go single file on the restarts here. Mostly because they'll get doubled up in a very quick fashion. Actually, I am going to go ahead and execute that for this. It might not happen this restart, but it's definitely going to happen next restart, so that we can try to get some better racing in the books and less wrecking in the books. So after pit stops here, rejoining the track with the lead, it's going to be Jonah Burridge makes a big move to inherit the lead here for the restart with James Gunner alongside of him. Jamison Thole and Ace Blake. William Kinsella Jr. Wow. Kinsella Jr. finds his way up into the top 5. Finley Herwig, Heen Clutchoke, Rand Kataz, Mark Shelton, and Joe Hill in your top 10. Gustavo Cruz, B-Roy, Kovacic, Parker, and Popkris rounding out your top 15. LFG Motorsports still struggling as they're sitting about 19th and 20th. And at the tail end of the field, the 15 of Craig Popkris in 31st place. And the restart is going to be frantic yet again here. Well, it looks like we might actually have single file restart here. It still triggered just at the right time. So Jonah Burridge, James Gunner, Jamison Thole, and Ace Blake. Hopefully we can get some green flag racing in now, as everyone's going to be on the same fuel load, the same strategy as far as that goes. Might still be some drivers that are sitting on 2 or 4 tires, but the tires aren't going to be as huge of a factor as that fuel load. Jonah Burridge leads them to the restart here. James Gunner right there in second. Kataz, one of the first to break low. Jamison Thole going for second. Ace Blake following suit right behind. Look at that. They're already three wide in spots. Even single file might not save us from wrecking every lap here. But hopefully it'll save us a couple laps from wrecking. Ace Blake in a bit of a pickle here, getting around the high side of Jamison Thole. He's going to settle in 4 wide behind him, though. That 5 wide almost. At least he's clear of the shenanigans behind him, and he can start focusing to the front. Jonah Burridge and James Gunner in front of him, holding the lead right now. We're going to hopscotch to the back of the field. And the nice part is, I think a lot of the craziness is going to start clearing itself out because we don't have near as many drivers left on track here. So it really is going to come down to who's got the best car here tonight. The best way to sort things out, settle it with mono a mono on horsepower and driver skill alone. Ace Blake gets by James Gunner, and now he's fighting his teammate in the 78. These two both race for Atlee Weiss in the Commonwealth Racing Ventures entry here in the ARCA series. It's already been announced that Jonah Burridge, they have parted ways with him and his driving duties for next season already, as they're going to start exercising their ideas as to who might fill that 78 seat in 2025. But in other words, Jonah Burridge out here pretty much performing for his own livelihood, trying to persuade other team owners that they need to pick him up. I must say, Burridge is going to be a high market driver, and he might spend another year in ARCA here, but he's definitely going to be back. He's currently in trucks in ARCA, and before he can make the bridge to Cup, he's going to have to show some more success in the lower wings here. But plenty of room to grow, and definitely a diamond in the rough, I would say. Ace Blake takes the lead here on lap 45. And obviously, forget about all the strategy, all the fuel mileage. He's got what he's got, and it's going to be good enough to make it to the finish of the race here tonight. The only question is, anyone else have anything for Ace Blake in that 77 car? Could have a battle with him and his teammate as they both come out of the same race shop. You got to know that they're probably sharing input on setups and whatnot, so this could be a good old-fashioned team battle to the finish here tonight. Rand Kata is continuing to amaze me here tonight. That number 9, DeWalt, or Ryobi rather, Home Depot Ryobi entry, finding his way back up to the front again. This time on equal tires and equal fuel load as his comrades against him, but still showing that he's got quite the pace to fight for the win here. Well, it looks so far, don't want to get ahead of myself, but looks like single file was the solution to the chaos and caution frenzy that we've had so far tonight. And they're still getting pretty antsy in the backfield here. You can see 3 wide, almost 4 wide at parts of the track here. Trevor Vaden fighting tooth and nail for every point he can get here tonight. It has not been an ideal second half of the race for that 18 team. Neither him nor his teammate Wyatt Wilkinson having as great of a race as they would desire. And I apologize too for the latency issue it seems like we're having. I have no good explanation for it because my computer legit has not changed, has not seen anything different, and I don't understand why the game is running at 15 frames per second when oftentimes it'll run at about 30 frames per second. The only element that has changed is the heat in my house, perhaps making my computer run a little bit warmer than it likes. and happening to slow down the frame rates on the game. So we're making it through. We're almost to the completion of this race. 25 laps to go. Ace Blake, his teammate Jonah Burge, loses some spots here as Finley Herwig and Chase Kovacic moving up to second and third now. Let's do a quick check on results from the 62 car of Kovacic and how he's finished so far this season. He has had a second place finish earlier this season at Langley Speedway. He's also had a 9th at Pikes Peak, a 4th at Killcare Raceway, a 6th at Knoxville, and a 6th just last week at Las Vegas. So Kovacic, as he sits currently 4th in the points, he's looking like Ace Blake to try and move himself up into a points battle for the overall championship. Tonight, Skylar Taylor, she struggles as she's out of the race already. She's going to fall from third. That opens the door for Kovacic and Blake to move up to third. Trevor Vaden struggling a little bit. He could potentially, Vaden could fall as far back as fourth here tonight, depending on how the points may land for the winners that are currently running towards the front of the field. 68 points could be the max points gained. And if Ace Blake wins, he could pretty much knock out about a 55-point gap to Trevor Vaden. So Wilkinson sits pretty solid with the lead right now, but even him, he might be sweating bullets here tonight with the rough run that he's having. Kovacic making a move on Blake here. Blake under attack for the lead. It's going to be Kovacic taking the lead away on lap 55. 77's putting up a fight on the outside, but the 62 has the advantage on the inside here. It's really nice that we've actually got to get some racing here tonight. 20 laps remaining, and we've seen quite a few different leaders sharing the lead here. Mark Shelton attacking the 77 of Blake for second now. This could be interesting. So many stories developing here. So many things depending on who comes out on top tonight. It's going to be huge in the grand scheme of things for this ARCA championship. Ace Blake back to the lead here on Kovacic. This is getting interesting. Even then, it looks like Trevor Vaden slowly working his way through the field here. He's now cracked up into the top 10. Still no signs of Wyatt Wilkinson as he's out in 18th right now. Ralph Oberstadt having a rough go of it. Heen Clutchoke goes from pole position to just holding up the tail end of the field in 29th. After the damage he's sustained throughout the race here, it's definitely taken a toll on his car. But it's Ace Blake leading over Mark Shelton, Chase Kovacic, Finley Herwig, and Rand Kataz. Once they come across the start-finish line, it'll be 15 laps to go. And this is truly coming down to a true racer's race. It's going to be who's got the best car and the best driver skill that'll get it done here tonight. We've had 5 cautions for a grand total of 17 laps under yellow here today. But since things have sorted out, we've had a good long green flag run here. Kataz making a bold move alongside Kovacic. Kovacic under attack by the 9. That 9 picking him off one by one. He is in the mix here. Going 3 wide for second place. It's Mark Shelton going way low here. And Kataz is going to be able to make it happen, at least temporarily. That 62 on the high side drives around the 9 car to take second back. 80 of Finley Herwig taking that outside line as well, making a good pass around the 64. Joseph Hayes just short of getting into the top 5 there. He's got to get by the 64 of Shelton, and he's going to have to do it on the high side. He might just get the job done here. You can see the difference in that line as he blows by around the outside. Move that 84 of Joseph Hayes up to 5th. Finley Herwig in 4th. Rand Kataz in 3rd. And a battle brewing with Kovacic and Blake yet again. This has been a most impressive battle that we've seen in ARCA so far this season. Kovacic and Blake have been swapping that lead left and right here. Some might say it's to try and save fuel. Obviously, they don't need to save all that much fuel because they were able to make a pit stop just recently that gives them full run to the finish on fuel. You don't want to spend all the time out front. You'll be using up your tires and your fuel faster from the lead. So sometimes there's a strategy to it to swap the lead back and forth. No, Kataz and Blake are touching. And oh, no. Oh, they somehow managed to save it. Blake is pretty much crumpled up against the wall there. Oh, boy. That could have been worse. It could have been worse. They're still kind of stuck together there. 77 took some damage out of it. But the ultimate damage is getting dropped all the way back outside the running order. Kataz takes the worst of it too. I mean, that's just hard, man. I mean, short of a caution here, we could see Ace Blake make his way back through the field. He's only slotted back to 23rd right now, We got to figure out how badly damaged that car is from getting into the wall. So at this point, it's going to be salvage mode and try and save as many points as he can from getting lost here on the evening. Could still have another caution take out a huge chunk of contenders. 18 of Vaden kind of stuck behind the lap traffic, the 8 of Anderson there. Oh, Joseph Hayes making a move. We have the 62 of Kovacic pitting. He had a flat tire. Oh my goodness. It has been a bad omen to lead this race here tonight. A flat tire from Chase Kovacic out of the lead. Hands first position on over to Joseph Hayes in the 84. Ooh, and they're wanting to wreck 4 wide in the middle of turn 2 there. Cooler heads prevail, but it is Joseph Hayes leading the race now with about 9 laps remaining. This race has so many twists and turns. It's like watching a mystery. It's like watching a thriller, a drama, whatever it might be. It has just had so many twists and turns that you cannot predict what's going to happen next here at Fontana. Out of all the chaos and all the smoke in the mirrors, Joseph Hayes finds himself leading over Joe Hill here in the closing laps. But do remember, if we have another caution, we have overtime implemented for this race. So if a caution were to come out on lap 74, we would have another opportunity for everyone to re-rack it. And look at that, they're wrecking the Kovacic. Ooh, 9 of Kataz, not Kovacic. Stay green though. The 9 of Kataz gets turned, keeps it mostly straight. Gets into Jaden Anderson. So 77 of Ace Blake might consider that a little bit of karma, a little bit of payback for the 9 having ruined his race here tonight. Five laps to go. That what it looked like. I think the 48 almost clips. Yeah, took the air off the 69 there. Wow, Trevor Vaden's got some side damage. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes Wyatt Wilkinson through the field. After having a tremendously terrible night here, this 18, I keep saying 18, I mean 19 of Wilkinson has found himself up into the top 5 with just a handful of laps remaining. He gets by Joe Hill. Bailey Parker with a solid top 3 run going here. Finley Herwig and Joseph Hayes. So Joseph Hayes, just a week ago, was leading the race at Vegas at about halfway. Made a bonehead ARCA move, cutting across the track and taking out a good chunk, almost half the field from the lead, honestly. Didn't take them all out, but involved a lot of drivers out of the lead with a mistake made as he cut across traffic. And now looking for redemption here tonight in California. This 84 goes from getting hauled off on a wrecker in Vegas to leading with just 3 laps to go here in California. He's going to have to hold off Bailey Parker, and Wyatt Wilkinson. I'd be more concerned about the 19 of Wilkinson, though. This car has been struggling all night and has been putting the pieces together to climb up the field. It looks like he might get by Parker this lap here. But he's slowly running out of laps. It's going to take a lot of speed here and a lot of finesse. He's got to find the draft with the 84 and start closing the gap on him. We could potentially be looking at a back-to-back winner as Wilkinson, oh, not so quick though. Wilkinson lost a lot of momentum there. I was talking about that finesse. He overdrove it a little bit and got overpowered by the 80 of Finley Herwig. As we're now on lap 74 of 75, Bailey Parker starting to drive away. Parker has a shot at trying to get the win here tonight. He's just got to get up alongside the 84 of Hayes, as the white flag is in hand of the flagman. It's going to be an official race. White flag waving, one more lap to go here in the Sigma ARCA Series California 75. Joseph Hayes, Bailey Parker, Wyatt Wilkinson a little bit further in the background there. Bailey Parker is going to need to throw a Hail Mary. It didn't look like he's got quite the momentum to close the gap on the 84 of Hayes. But he's going to hit gold here tonight in Fontana. Joseph Hayes goes from turmoil in Vegas to celebration here in Fontana. 84 gets his first career Sigma ARCA win and does it in tremendous fashion. Had a little bit of help from some mechanical failures, and ultimately Kovacic looked like he had it on lock. Blew a tire from the lead and fell out of the mix on this one. Ace Blake had a solid car here tonight. Got tangled up in the 9's undoing and settles for a 19th place finish. Not too bad when you mention the fact that Trevor Vaden only finished about 6 spots in front of him in 12th. But the big hurt is the fact that Wyatt Wilkinson was able to get back up to a top 3 finish and continue to grow his points lead here in the ARCA Series. So man, there was so many things that could have happened, and they all happened, it seemed like, to ultimately giving Joseph Hayes his first career win here tonight at Fontana. Jimmy Schlongson comes home in 8th. Jonah Burridge comes home 10th. Rand Kataz still somehow got a 23rd out of the craziness that he saw here tonight. Man, Kovacic falls to 1 lap down in 29th after having a flat tire in the lead. And so now these ARCA drivers are going to have about a month and a couple weeks, so about 6 weeks off. And I guess kind of like an Olympics stretch off. It's not the Olympics yet, but maybe in our Sigma-verse we can say it's a break of that style, you know. And so these drivers, with only 6 races left in their maiden season here, have a lot that they can stew on. It's gonna be hard to take 6 weeks off and come back into the fold and fight for wins, knowing you only have 6 races left to settle the score. No gimmicks in this ARCA series. It's gonna be hands down points all the way across the board. No playoffs, no brackets, no nothing. It's just whoever gets the most points and closes out the season on top. 12 of 18 leaves us with 6 races in this maiden inaugural season, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It's already pretty much safe to say who's locked out, as you only have 6 races left, and we'll do a report on that here shortly to give everyone an idea on, I guess, probabilities. We can look into like statistical probabilities of drivers' chances of still winning the Sigma ARCA championship, and that'll give us something to kind of look over the 6-week break, give us something to, you know, talk about. So with that, we do have 2 more races this week, and with my vacation coming up, it's going to be a lot of streaming here for the first week in July, the end of June here. So stay tuned, keep tuning in. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all your support, and when you guys tune in, it makes it all that much better. So have a good night, everyone. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one tomorrow. This is Jakester signing out. Have a good night.